Welcome to another Take 3 for Politics. Brad Schmidt here with Andrew Theen, talking about Portland City Hall. Andrew, big story regarding Home Forward. What's going on with rents?
Right, so we've been reporting pretty extensively on the city's renter crisis, and the question arose, what does that mean for the people on the lowest economic rung here in Portland, people who are lucky enough to get Section 8 vouchers to help pay for housing? According to Home Forward, the Multnomah County Housing Authority, in the last month since the city approved the new notification timeline, giving an extra 30 days to people, 60 in some cases when they get a rent increase. Nearly 500 rent increases in a month from Home Forward. So what this is showing is the most vulnerable people are also feeling the pressures of Portland's housing market. Kind of not a surprise, but the numbers really bore that out. Another big issue here in Portland, the mayor had this on his list of things that had to get done, the future of a long-standing project, Centennial Mills. What can you tell us about that, Brad?
Well, for the second time in 4 years, a deal for Centennial Mills has fallen apart. Centennial Mills is in the Pearl District, right on the riverbanks, and the city owned this property since 2000. It's a collection of old mills and warehouses. They had hoped to work out a deal with Jordan Schnitzer's Harsh Investment, but his proposal was about $116 million, which would require nearly $40 million in public investment. The Portland Development Commission has other priorities. They want to renovate the post office site, which is nearby. That's priority number one. So essentially, they're going back to the drawing board. In the interim, they have been demolishing some of the buildings. The buildings that would have remained would have fit with Schnitzer's proposal. Now, maybe they just tear everything down and have a clean slate with what they have, about $20 million budget. Right. After they tear down what's there, they think they'd have about $6 million left. Trouble is, there'd still be two buildings there. They could tear those down for about $2 million, or they could try and renovate them, which might be $23 million.
Prime time real estate.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting decision point ahead. Expect something maybe first quarter of next year.
Right.
Transitioning back over to you, Andrew, we have a situation in Portland where the mayor is leaving at the end of next year.
Right.
And he's perhaps doing some legacy projects. What's going on this week?
Right, I mean, we talked about Centennial Mills, but also the mayor is planning ahead. One of his key responsibilities is the budget, and coming off a year with $50 million in surplus, next year is not going to be that robust, and the mayor has to find a lot of money to pay for the housing emergency. So he's calling for 5% potential cuts for general fund bureaus. Those are things you pay your property taxes with, like police, fire, parks, transportation. That's he's got to find the money, basically. And beyond that, there's a plan to ban the box for job applicants. You won't have to talk about your criminal history, and an employer can't ask until there's a job offer on the table. The mayor brought this back after the legislature didn't take enough action in his mind. So two big projects he hopes to move forward as he builds his legacy here in the next 14 months. That's another Take 3 for Politics.